Hello and welcome. You are listening to episode 81 of the Nearly Men Video Games Podcast, coming to you live on Twitch from Scotland on Thursday, 18th of February 2021. I am Blunderboy87, and joining me today is Colin Little.
Hello.
And Paul Kaczynski.
Hello there.
And together we are the Nearly Men. We have nothing to do with video games industry. We don't make them, we don't sell them, and we're not even particularly good at them. We are the Nearly Men, and at some point you have probably kicked our asses online.
Woo! And that's reading it as well. Although it's better than my attempt was last week, Blunderboy, if you remember.
Yeah,
I just made it up.
Do you know, I feel like I've not said that in ages. I was like, I don't remember the last time I hosted. I think the last time I was meant to host, I was off sick.
Oh.
And I think that's why.
That may be right.
Like, because I was like, right. I was like, I've not said this in a while. And that word particularly.
I know. Well, we should change it for you and I, because we kind of say our L's.
Yes, we can. Although I've kind of broke it down, but the way I say it, it feels like extremely long. I think if I was talking normally, I'd say particular and just cut the end of the word off. But now I say particularly, and that feels weird. I feel like Gene Brody. How are we, boys?
That's Miss Gene Brody.
Oh, yes. Sorry, Mr. Brody.
I'm well, thank you, Blunderboy. Thank you. It's nice to see you.
And what about part-timer? How are you?
Aye.
Well, that's you just said that after you feel you haven't done it for very long because you had a night off and now you're calling me a part-timer.
Well, it was not a night off. I was sick.
I would like to see. I'd like to see a doctor's note. Thank you very much.
I will get my doctor's note. Thank you very much. Also, as Paul Kaczynski discovered, a year ago to the day you took the night off as well.
Aye, that was right.
Weird. That's right.
Weird. Aye, we noticed that on Facebook memories. Facebook grassed me up about. It seems I'm quite partial to a wee mid-February break.
Aye, mid-term.
Because when Paul had sent it at first, I was like, I don't know what I'm looking at. What's so funny? And then I realised, and I was like, It's like he has his regularly scheduled holiday.
I have genuinely no idea why. Oh no, I do. I was working up in Perth. That's what it was. Listen, these things happen, mate. These things happen. It seems that particular week, because I was working the other week as well, it seems that I am in very high demand.
As I said, that's one night a year you work.
On a particular Thursday in February.
You ever see Paul taking time off?
Exactly.
That's if Paul took time off, it wouldn't happen.
That's it. Somebody asked me that. They said, what happens if Paul takes the night off? I said, well, we moved the podcast.
Yeah.
You've done it once without me.
I was going to say we did it once, did we not? And
it worked out well.
Terrifying. It was not a fun night.
For the life of me, I can't remember how we did it.
We did it like this, but I wasn't there. I recorded it, but I wasn't actually in the room.
That's what it was. I knew we'd done it.
Yeah.
Because
I don't think it was fancy though either.
No.
It wasn't visual then. No, it wasn't visual.
Because
it wasn't live either.
No. Because that was the thing. Somebody had said to me, they said, so is it only Paolo that's done every episode of the podcast? I mean, I think he's missed one as well. I'm sure he has.
You've done it on your own as well, way back when.
Yes, I did one myself. You've done one
voice.
Yourself.
All right.
You did it yourself? Did you still run over?
Yes, I did. I fell out with myself as well. I was just throwing hot takes about everywhere, arguing with myself.
Whenever we do it on our own, there was just always wee digs to each other to see if we were listening.
I had to see if they bothered to listen the following week.
Shenanigans.
Yeah.
Absolute shenanigans. But we do love shenanigans here. And we love it when the listeners get in touch with their shenanigans. And this is how you can do that. Shenanigans.
Reaching the Nearly Men is easier than ever. Search for the Nearly Men Video Games Podcast on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or your preferred podcast player. We stream on Twitch. Follow Colin at Colin_NM. Follow Paul at Paul Kaczynski, all one word. Follow Gary at Blunderboy87. And let's get social on Facebook as The Nearly Men. Twitter and Instagram, where we are at nearlymen, or go old school and email us on info@thenearlymen.com. Need all that again? Links are on our website, thenearlymen.com. So what are you waiting for?
So please do get in touch and let us know what you've been up to. Now, it's been quiet. It's been very quiet. And everything to do with the video game world. I think I don't know if there's a drought and people are just a wee bit don't know what they're doing with their life and video game land. And I also think developers are a bit of drought. It just feels very barren out there.
Barren, good word.
Good,
that is good words. Yeah.
The video game tumbleweeds.
Although he was talking about the fact that he couldn't pronounce his R's and then just comes straight in and goes with... Oh, no, it was L's. Sorry.
Not only does Colin not listen to the podcast after it's recorded, he doesn't listen while it's getting recorded.
Well,
you can't say letters that don't sound anything alike.
I like to just drift off from time to time, just think about my next pearl of wisdom. That coincidentally, that wasn't one of my pearls of wisdom, but I'm sure there'll be one.
Sometime.
Wait. But yeah, like the video game industry just seems to be a wee bit quiet, and I don't know if part of it. Well, I think part of it to blame is the fact that nobody can play any of the new games coming out on the new gen consoles.
I think some of us can, right?
I mean, some of us can.
Some of us can.
Scalpers have most of them, let's face it.
That is true.
And then I think as well it's because there was such a build-up and we had all those big events coming, and now they're just like, and they're out, and we're finished. You've got the console, have fun, and everybody's like, oh. However, Nintendo, of course, are keeping... Well, Nintendo had the promise of keeping the Nintendo fans entertained and tantalising their taste buds with the next Nintendo Direct, which we're going to discuss now.
How'd that go, Gary?
Oh, well, so this is coming from Eurogamer.net, and this is by Tom Phillips, and it just kind of sums up how the Nintendo Direct event went. And he writes, last night's long-awaited Nintendo Direct included several big game announcements, including Splatoon 3 and Mario Golf Super Rush, as well as a confirmation of an HD release for Zelda Skyward Sword. Literally the big game announcements that he's talking about, which no one was really anticipating, I think. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 characters Pyra and Mithra were also announced as the latest faces to join Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Mention was made of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, but only to say that more detail would arrive later in 2021. To be clear, Nintendo did not confirm whether the game would actually release in 2021. Lots of multi-platform games are coming to the Switch. Fall Guys, they're re-releasing Ninja Gaiden, Plants vs. Zombies, because we've just been dying for that. This one, actually, I didn't see anyone talk about this, so it kind of raised my eyebrows. Star Wars Hunters is a new free-to-play online squad-based arena multiplayer game set between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. It's coming to Switch in 2021 from Zynga. But, and for across the internet, and particularly people we know who are big Nintendo fans, they're disappointed. They were not impressed. I had a friend, Baker Boy, who listens, was texting me as they were announcing things, and he summed it up as games you can play on other consoles. Like
Yep.
That's exactly it. So obviously I don't have a Switch. I used to be a big Nintendo fan. I still hold sort of treasured memories of Nintendo, but the Switch has never been top of my priority to get. But I thought, well, I'll check it out. I'll watch the Direct. I haven't seen a Nintendo Direct in quite a while, so I'll watch this one, see what the year's going to look like for the Switch. And I was thoroughly underwhelmed. Honestly, it started off with Smash, and I was like, oh, bloody hell, Smash, here we go. I mean, I remember playing Smash Bros. On the N64 when it first came out, and it was quite good. I remember my pal being very excited about it. I quite liked it, but it was all right. And I've played subsequent versions of Smash, and it just always feels the same, and not necessarily in a particularly comfortable way. I just I didn't really recognise the characters that had been added in. It was an incredibly long rather boring video, I thought, and I was just like, oh god. But I went, well, they're starting fairly small. This is essentially just adding some DLC, or talking about some DLC, so they must have something good coming. And yeah, as Blunderboy, as you say, and as Kevin said, it's just lots of games you can play on other platforms, and and you're going to essentially be playing an inferior version. Let's be honest. I have no doubt that Fall Guys will probably be quite good fun on the Switch. It's probably of the ones that I saw the most likely to sort of suit the Switch, but most people are already playing it on PlayStation, probably, or PC. It's been out a bit long. I don't think necessarily. I think the folk that are desperate to play Fall Guys will already have been playing it on something. And I also, and that was kind of across the board. All of these ones they released. I was kind of interested in Ghouls and Ghosts Resurrection. That looked quite cool. But I mean, is that it? And the Skyward Sword thing was ridiculous. They introduced, now I don't really know any of the faces from Nintendo these days. I used to sort of know what Miyamoto looked like, a few folk, but I don't really recognize anybody from Nintendo now. Much like, with the exception of Shuhei Yoshida, I don't really know anybody really from PlayStation. You all know Phil Spencer from Xbox, I suppose, but that's about it. But I didn't recognise any of them. But whenever they brought somebody into the video, there was a little bit of text that came up and told you who they were. And this black screen comes up, and this guy's there, and it introduces him. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but and it says he's from Legend of Zelda Studios. And I thought, oh my god, here we go. This is it. This is a teaser or something for Breath of the Wild. And then he starts talking, and you're following the subtitles. He's essentially saying, "I know you're really looking forward to seeing about Breath of the Wild, but we're not going to show you that. But don't you worry, we'll show you at some point later in the year, very, very vaguely." And then he said, "But have we got something for you?" And I went, "Oh, well, I wonder what they've got." Skyward Sword, a 10-year-old Wii game, but there's some Wii controls for it.
Do you know why I think it stings so much? Because Mario just had the 35-year anniversary, and it was Super Mario Sunshine and other ones, Super Mario
Galaxy
64 and Galaxy together. So I think people were expecting Skyward Sword, Twilight Princess, and Wind Waker to come, and the fact they're like, it's just Skyward Sword, the least popular modern Zelda game, arguably. And I think I really kind of went, where's the rest?
It's the equivalent of giving somebody a birthday present and going, what I was going to get you was...
Yeah.
I got you this.
So it was, I mean, looking at the clip there, DC Superhero Girls, the fact they've got a game finally, I think that's good, because that's been really big and popular. Had a TV show, had a toy franchise. The fact they've moved into the game, and it looks kind of cute and fun. I was like, that's good. And then, was it Project Triangle, something like that? The Square Enix game. We were talking about that earlier, and Colin, you were saying the combat looks interesting to me. Yeah. I kind of was like, oh look, another 2D sprite pixel game from Square Enix. Octopath Traveler did, and it was good. And they're good games, but I'm a bit like, you've got Bravely Default 2 coming out, which is fully 3D RPG. I'm a bit like, how many RPG series are Square Enix going to pump out these days? It's a wee bit like, oh. And then, of course, you get Mario Golf.
Which looks good. Mario Golf, and I did say straight away, Mario Golf's got a special new special mode. It's like Speed Golf, it's called. I think it looks fabulous, right? you scalp the ball, you run after the ball, you can hit, you don't have to wait turns and all that. The idea is to literally get the ball in the hole as fast as possible. It looks mental fun, I imagine, all crowded around the telly once, social distancing's all a thing in the past, and playing that at a house party or something would be a lot of fun. But that was it, and I just think it's a really strange one for a couple of reasons. First of all, they made a big thing about the fact that they had motion controls, right, for Skyward Sword, which is a throwback to the Wii days, obviously, because they're thrown back to a Wii game. But one of the biggest sellers of the Switch now is the Switch Lite, which doesn't have the Joy-Cons, and then they basically said, it doesn't work on the Switch Lite, but you can just flick this analog stick and it's the same. And you're like, well, it doesn't look the same. It's not the same. That's not the same.
Do you know what as well, though? Fans are delighted they can turn the motion controls off because they were gank.
Well, I know. Well, But then they did this big thing about how they were showing the motion controls were working. You're like, this is your sword and this is your shield, and you're like, all right, okay. And then so for the shield you do this, and for the sword you do this. And I went,
yeah.
Well, that's not how a sword works. And he said, and the bow and arrow, and he went, and the bow and arrow, and it was essentially just doing this for bow and arrow, and he talked about how great it was. I'm like, no, I mean, surely you're going to get. I mean, if you're doing motion control for a bow and arrow, surely you actually want to feel like you're firing a bow and arrow. It just seemed bizarre, and honestly, a huge chunk of that thing was talking about that really dull motion control thing. I was like, why are you doing that? I think it's a strange one from Nintendo because Gary's already mentioned this, right? You can't buy a PS5 or an Xbox Series X or even an S for love or money right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, this was a massive year for the Nintendo Switch. For people who have got money literally burning a hole in their pockets and are desperate to buy a console, if they had come out with a whole raft of big system sellers, they could have easily got a couple of folk going, well, I'm not getting a PS5 anytime soon, but I can't wait to play the new Zelda, or, oh, that new Mario looks amazing, or whatever. I'm buying a Switch. Screw it, I'm buying a Switch. I don't think there was really a single system seller in that thing at all.
No. They also have the audacity, the goal, and the gumption to be selling Skyward Sword at $60 or £50 here. It's like...
So expensive, isn't it?
Wild.
So expensive. I didn't see it at all. The only kind of input I had from it, or the watching of it, was when I was doing the video clip that's on just now. And it just looked like a collection of old games. Like as if Switch is playing catch up with everything.
Mm-hmm.
It just seemed. Has it not been like hundreds of days as well since the last Direct?
It's been
2019.
Countdowns.
Was it not like
2019? So you're talking what? Nearly 600 days.
That's why everyone was so excited about this one. They really felt there was something big coming. I cannot believe Nintendo have. I feel they've blown it. I really feel. I mean, they spent all this time talking about how they're bringing some super. They said, "Oh, it's the 35th anniversary of Mario," and it's like, "Oh, come on, what have you got for us?" No, they've got warp pipes that you can put in your Animal Crossing island.
Oh, that's right. That's one of the big announcements. Mario comes to Animal Crossing, and there was an article, and it was like, it doesn't look like Mario. It looks like the creepy Mario you get down the carnival, the tradie that you're anti-win. It's like, here's Mario, and you're like,
Mario.
It's a me. It's a Mario.
It's terrifying looking.
Splatoon 3, I suppose, is probably. I mean, they did leave that to last, didn't they? It's not really in our circle, but Splatoon 2 was huge. It was absolutely huge.
It was really well received.
So I suppose a third one of those is going to be big amongst the people that are big about Splatoon, I suppose.
But that way where you have, I'm sure Blunted Boy will certainly feel this. When you have a meeting and you're like, that could have been an email.
Oh yeah,
another bloody meeting that could have been an email. Well, I'm sorry, that was a Nintendo Direct that could have been an email.
Yeah,
and that is the most damning thing I could say. I mean, they could have just released a trailer for Splatoon 3. See, if they'd done that, people would have probably been quite happy. But the fact they made a big hoo-ha about the fact it was the first one of the year, we've had a hell of a year. 2020 has been awful. The video games industry's obviously suffered as well. Here's looking forward to the vaccine and everything else and the potential of a new dawn and what have we got to look forward to this year? Well, if you're a Nintendo player, hee-haw. Hee-haw.
Obviously, the Star Wars one caught my eye because it's Star Wars and you know what I'm like. So it's a free-to-play online squad-based arena multiplayer. So is that like Rogue Company and the like? Is that an arena squad-based?
Do not get too excited. It's made by Zynga, who made Farmville.
That's what I was going to say.
Words with Friends.
Zynga are a mobile company, not they make mobile games. So, come on now.
Interesting.
The second that it was, I got really excited. I was midway through typing a message to both of you guys about it, and then I saw Zynga and I went, delete. It's not even worth mentioning. It's not even worth mentioning. It's basically a mobile game that they put on the Switch. And then I know you guys discussed this last week, but Apex, who in their right mind is going to play Apex on the Switch? I mean, can you just imagine being sniped from beyond the draw distance by some PC player on your Switch, running around with a frame rate of like 3 and and textures that you saw in the original Wolfenstein 3D. It's gonna. I mean,
you won't be reaching platinum.
There's no way. Apex is a game which is now like super twitchy, and they're trying to. You're looking like minimum 60 frames. You're going to need it, or and there's people cranking their machines and they're playing. A friend of the podcast, Wardyliv, it streams it, and his gaming rig's a monster. And when you watch him playing it, it's buttery smooth and it's so fast. I mean, honestly, I know it's free to play, but I just don't see anybody playing. And I also just think the people who are playing those games that are playing Apex, they are not playing on Nintendo. They're playing on, PlayStation or Xbox at least, and the majority of them are probably playing on PC. It's just a strange choice. I don't know.
Yeah.
A peculiar start to the year for Nintendo, let's put it that way.
I mean, it's peak Nintendo. There seems to be two different Nintendos. There's a Nintendo that make really great games, and then there's the Nintendo that do stuff like that. Coincidentally, just before we go on, sorry, Blunderboy, did you see that Nintendo UK asked people to put I retweeted this, asked people to put gaming, what's your favourite Nintendo music or something, and everybody replied, and then Nintendo basically copyrighted every single one of the videos. So it's just a reply of, this video is no longer I'll need to find the tweet and I'll share it. It's hilarious. It's somebody's edited it to Mr. Blue Sky, and it is hilarious. It is peak Nintendo.
Jeez Louise.
Oh dear.
Nuts. In this year of starvation in the video games industry, Mr. Kuczynski, do you have any crumbs for us?
Do I?
What are these crumbs?
Well, let me tell you, a lot of people playing Sea of Thieves at the moment. Of course, Captain Shambles in our presence here with us.
Never heard of it.
No. As Sea of Thieves is going to have their mid-season update, and that's dropped today, which is the 18th of February. It's kind of few wee sections to it, but the main kind of event, if you like, is the Festival of Fishing, which I know Captain Shambles is rip-roaring about.
Yeah.
Basically, you get new fishing rods for doing fishing challenges as your reward for that. There's also some cosmetics as well that you can buy. Probably one of the great things about Sea of Thieves is that, as Colin said before many times, Rare are a great kind of community company, and they're really in tune with the community that plays Sea of Thieves. And stuff like this, which I'm about to say, just shows off how good they are at just not being video game developers. Because you can pick up a new sail for your ship, Sails of Hope it's called, which is a cosmetic, and if you buy it, all the proceeds go to Great Ormond Street Hospital.
Wow, that's excellent.
Good, isn't it?
Yeah, they did a thing last year. I can't remember exactly who it went to. It was a similar sort of thing, and I think it was upwards of £80,000 they made.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
So, yeah.
Good on them. Going from one of Colin's favourite games of all time to possibly one of his least favourite games of all time at the moment. It could all change. It's going to be 5 years this August since No Man's Sky had its shaky release. And Hello Games, the developer, have got a lot planned for their 5th anniversary year. And it begins, I think today or yesterday, I think it might have dropped, with a companion update, which is essentially having pets. So you can tame any animal that you meet in this procedurally generated universe. I presume you can tame any of them. I don't know if you can tame the really big ones that you see, but
no, I think you can.
Can you? Yeah.
Yeah, well, in the trailer it looked like it.
You can make them mounts, but they can also do lots of things like scan for resources, spot for dangers, and find and buried treasure and things like that. And they accompany with you on the galaxy. So that's the kind of first of many updates I think that's going to get this year. I'm seriously thinking about starting it and streaming it. Not gonna lie.
I think it'd be pretty good to stream. I'm sort of tempted a wee bit myself. I think on PS5. Has it got the PS5 update yet?
It does, yes. It does. That's
it's
why I'm keen.
That new trailer, it's looking super swanky.
Mm-hmm. Mind you, No Man's Sky has looked swanky before, remember?
It has indeed. And it did me out of 50 quid when it looked so swanky.
I think his Colin was so excited about it.
I know.
And we all were. I mean, well, I know Paolo was very excited about it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paolo's far more. I'm mellowing a little bit. I was very disappointed at the time. I spent my hard-earned money on it, and it was not what we were sort of promised. And regardless of who it was that made those promises or whatever, I think everybody's somewhat culpable, and maybe gamers themselves are a bit culpable for buying into hype, or at least. But it was maybe a more naive time. We're maybe a bit more attuned to it now.
And of course, you lost a lot of time writing all those death threats to Sean Murray as well. So
I know, yeah.
But who knows?
That reminds me, I need to contact CD Projekt Red again. That's a joke. That's a joke.
Speaking of PS5 upgrades and the like, Marvel's Avengers will finally get its PS5 and Xbox Series update on the 18th of March. Now, I thought the Marvel Avengers had it already. When I installed it, I got a PS5 update, so I presume it was like a kind of akin to the Cyberpunk thing of it's a kind of halfway house kind of so far. Mm-hmm. But it was meant to come out on Christmas, but it got delayed pretty much as the game was released. I think it got delayed. Mm-hmm. But it's come with it. It's got higher resolution textures, models, and armor destruction, and frame rates will also be higher. I believe that's a quote. Frame rates will be higher. No number. It's going to arrive with Hawkeye, which is the Clint Barton. Is that his name? Gary?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's coming.
You know the Avenger nobody really likes? Him.
Because they've already released Kate Bishop.
Yeah, she's in it already.
Really testing my knowledge now. Kate Bishop. So now the other Hawkeye, Clint Barton's coming in, and I think their stories merge, and it's going to be a new villain as well. It's introduced it. Existing PS4 and Xbox One owners will get the edition for free, and the save files will carry over, which is good. And they're hoping that a lot of players come back to it. It has had a mass exodus, but there is still no sign of the Sony exclusive Spider-Man, which is dubious, people are saying. And lastly, Game Pass editions, I'll throw them in as well very quickly. On the 18th of February, you're getting Code Vein for PC, Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire Ultimate Edition for the console and the cloud, and Wreckfest for the console, PC, and cloud. Wreckfest, I presume, is Destruction Derby.
I guess so, yeah.
23rd of February, Killer Queen Black is coming for console and cloud, and on the 25th, you're getting Dirt 5 for console, PC, and cloud, Elite Dangerous on console, Super Hot Mind Control for PC. That's a handsome lineup. Leaving on the 24th is Dirt 4, and on 28th, leaving is Memodora Reverie. What? Would that be French? Memodora Reverie?
Is it just Reverie?
Reverie? That doesn't seem right.
I mean, I think it is a French word, but I don't think the accent is necessary.
Reverie! Under the Moonlight. Mother Russia Bleeds is going, Oxenfree is going, and Sad Tale Jackbox Party Pack 4 is also going. Vambrace Cold Soul will be leaving as well. That's all on the 28th. That's your Game Pass, and that's your Cozy Scrums as well.
Amazing.
Hey.
Go from Cozy Scrums straight into our freebies.
Wow.
Wow. Games with Gold from the 1st to the 28th of February. You can get Gears 5 and Resident Evil HD Remaster. Ooh. The 16th to the 28th of February, Lost Planet 2, which is a pretty good game. And 16th of February to the 15th of March, Dendara Trails of Fear Edition, which is a Metroidvania game. Never heard of that one. PlayStation Plus for the month of February, you've got Destruction All-Stars on PS5, Control Ultimate Edition on PS5 and PS4, and Concrete Genie on the PS4.
Lovely.
And that's all your freebies.
Nice.
So grab them while you can. Moving on to games we've been playing, we were doing our multiplayer last week, and well, I was going to say we jumped into the world of zombies, but you boys have been doing a lot of jumping into zombies. You've been trying trying all the online zombie games lately.
We have a bit, haven't we? Actually, I forgot to even include that on thing. Yeah. So before we talk on the one we were doing, Paolo and I did a couple of weeks back now have a shot at DayZ.
Yeah, of course we did.
I wasn't hugely taken by it.
Well, the problem was, I mean, you started streaming and I joined later in. And once I joined, it was essentially a game of trying to find each other.
Yeah.
Which was not a fun game at the time, and was not was a successful game in the end.
Eventually, yeah.
Very end. But no, it was just a bit too. Do you know, it's unfair because I think if we gave it a proper bash, it might actually be quite good. A kind of PUBG in zombie mode.
Yeah, I just hate the inventory system's awful.
You weren't keen on that. I didn't bother me that much, I have to say, but you weren't keen on it.
It just inexplicably made you drop things all the time. And I'm sorry, in a zombie survival situation where literally every single thing's important and you need to scavenge. Well, I just said if you were actually in that environment, if you were actually fighting for your life, you wouldn't automatically drop your axe every time you picked up a rotten potato off the ground. You just wouldn't.
It was very funny watching Colin go, right, I've got a rotten potato. Oh no, my axe is gone. Where is it? And then having to walk around looking at the ground.
Spending 20 minutes trying to find my bloody axe and literally never finding it. It was infuriating.
It's so funny.
So anyway, we went after that. Blunderboy had recommended to me that I try out State of Decay 2. So I gave it a go on stream and genuinely had a brilliant time with it. It's made by Undead Labs, and I was very lucky to have 3 of the dev team in my stream, in my chat, and they were there for hours. I had Brant, Mark, and Chris, who were all in the chat. Brant ended up dropping a bunch of subs as well, which was incredibly generous of him. And they were asking me things, they were giving me tips, they were talking through the sort of design process and the game and all that sort of stuff. It was great, and I loved it. And they did say to me, they said, it's good you're playing on your own. He said, but I think you'll really enjoy this with friends. And I was like, well, I've got the multiplayer night coming up for the Nearly Men. So I knew Blunderboy had already played it. I know that, zombies are a pretty easy sell to Blunderboy.
Yeah.
So I sort of broached it and said, listen, because we had another game in mind possibly and I said, well, we'll maybe shift that. Should we maybe try State of Decay? And so we all got together and we've started a community in State of Decay. Paolo, what did you think of it?
Yeah, I liked it. As opposed to, I mean, it's a different game from DayZ, obviously, but as opposed to that, it was a very much pick up and play, kind of jump in, not arcadey, but compared to DayZ, it was arcadey. It's difficult as well because I kind of went in with you guys knowing what you were doing, and you just essentially told me what to do. Whereas with DayZ, I was going in and kind of looking at it and trying to work it out myself, kind of thing. But no, I mean, it was fun. It was fun. Everything was kind of satisfying about it. Getting cars was exciting. Going to infestations was exciting. Shooting zombies was fun. There was a lot of fun in it. It was good.
I think that description of it being arcadey, but in like a positive way, because it is. It's like everything, as you say, felt satisfying. It was like you enjoyed the whole time. You weren't going, oh gosh, I have to march away and do something, or oh, this weapon's breaking, I need to fight. Like it never kind of felt like a slog. And I think that is what keeps. That's why it's so enjoyable. And learning that we were playing was fun as well, like trying to figure out that we were actually not part of Colin's world for real.
Exactly. I mean, but by saying it's arcadey, sometimes that suggests that it's dumbed down a bit, and that like you say, that's not what I meant. It was just, it wasn't simple. It was just fun. It was easy. It was nice to play.
Yeah.
So I went back into it the other night on my own stream, and I started a new community on the Dread difficulty level, which is like the one up from what we were playing on. And I tell you, by the way, it's quite something. The amount of zombies you have to deal with, the sort of ferocity of them, the amount of hits they take, and all the survival stuff has increased. Sort of like your survivors use more food up. They need, you need more supplies. Resources are scarcer and all that. And I think that's my level. Actually, I think that the difficulty level suits me. I think there's 2 further difficulty levels above that. I think it's really good. I am really liking it. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what you can do once you can upgrade vehicles and start building bigger bases and all that sort of stuff, because as Paolo said, it feels good. The combat is brutal. The guns fire and feel good. The cars, yeah, they are very arcadey, but as Paul says, in a very fun way.
Yeah.
Just running over zombies is just so much fun.
I'll tell you something. I was not in the slightest interested in State of Decay 3 when it was announced, but having now played this, I'm a bit more. Wonder what that would like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. No, it was great. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to play more.
Excellent. Colin, what else have you been playing? Tell us.
Well, so just the sort of usual effort. Obviously, I've been playing Sea of Thieves. They had the Champion of Souls event on. The new Battle Pass and Plunder Pass is really good. Not sure the Plunder Pass is hugely worth a lot of money. I was very kindly gifted it by Evil Monkey, so I haven't paid money for it. I like having it. I'm not sure. I assume that it'll probably have the later versions of the Plunder Pass will probably be a bit better. They often sort of like have to refine these sort of Battle Pass things. But I'm really liking the actual Battle Pass, and I would probably, unless folk are desperate to give Rare some money, and if they are, by all means, buy the Plunder Pass or buy pets or whatever in the game. But obviously buy the Sales of Hope. That's what you should really do. The Battle Pass in itself is actually, and it does look as though if you level it up to 100, you will probably have enough ancient coins to buy a Plunder Pass next time and actually not have to spend a penny in the game.
I was going to ask if they do that, because Dead by Daylight does that. It's once you buy your Rift Pass, you earn the money back, so the next time you don't need to spend more money, you can actually...
It appears that will be the case. I've not seen the exact numbers. It just talks about a handful of ancient coins here, a pile of ancient coins here, but it does appear like that's the case. So that's great. And the other thing I've been playing is the PS Plus game for PS5, Control Ultimate Edition. I'm playing it on the 30 frames per second graphics mode or display mode with ray tracing. And it is glorious looking.
Oh, yeah.
I jumped it down to try the 60 frames a second, and funnily enough, I am loving playing Sea of Thieves and things like that on 60 frames. I'm loving playing Ghost of Tsushima on 60 frames. But for some reason, I think because Control's very filmic, I actually prefer it on the 30 frames a second and looking better. It felt a wee bit too arcadey, and arcadey in the bad way. When I flipped it to that, but I tell you, it's looking lovely.
Akin to the Hobbit, Peter Jackson's Hobbit.
Yeah, the 48 frames thing. It does feel a wee bit weird. I don't know. It was just strange. I don't know whether it's because I went from the ray tracing and the sort of like sort of 4K letterboxing or whatever it is they're using, and then to that. I have heard that the actual the big fights and the sort of physics and all that are much better in the performance mode when you've got the higher frame rate. But I think it's running gloriously on PS5 on 30 frames a second. And what I'm playing on, I mean, it's bonkers, and I'm not exactly sure what the hell's happening, but I'm liking it. I am liking it. I like the aesthetic of it. I like those big bloody letters that appear all the time.
It's so satisfying.
It's just really cool. So yeah, I'm quite pleasantly surprised.
Nice. I loved it.
Oh, you'd love it.
I'd just say I love Control. Yeah.
No, that's all you have to say. Nothing else.
That's fine.
That's it. What have you been playing?
Well, I've been playing Sea of Thieves as well. I got to Pirate Legend on Friday or Tuesday, whatever it was.
Congratulations!
With the help of Colin Little and Grim, kind of got me just almost there, to the point where it was just essentially I had to throw in a few crates and that would get me Pirate Legend. So that's great. That's good fun. It's just nonsense, as we've said about a million times. The other game that I was playing has been The Medium, which I've been playing on Monday nights. And it's very good. It's very dark. I can't remember. I think I did speak about this last episode. So I'll not go on about it too much. Obviously, a lot's happened since then. There's been 2 streams since then. And it's very good. It's very well made. It's by Bloober, who I know Colin loves.
Friends of the podcast.
Indeed, they gave us Layers of Fear for one of the charity streams. You guys, I think both of you have played Blair Witch, is that right?
Yeah,
I own it. I've never played it.
Have you not got it yet? Right?
I got a code for it. They sent us a code for it.
And I mean, it's it's good. It's nice to see Blooper grown up, to be honest. You know, going from Layers of Fear, which was a brilliant horror game, but in a way quite basic, and then going to Blair Witch, which kind of opened up a wee bit, and then the Medium, which has became very cinematic, and it's a big game, and it's good. It's very dark. Very dark.
It gets very dark unexpectedly. It just kind of appears from nowhere, and you go, "Wait, what?"
Aye. Very adult orientated.
As we were having a chat, and I was saying to you, I think it's done tastefully. The subject matter, due to the location and stuff, is. I don't feel like it's thrown in for shock value to make you go, "Oh my goodness!" Like, and I think that's where, because we'd had a chat about a friend of ours who was talking about the trigger warnings in the content, and I said to Paul, have you noticed any stuff like this? And he's like, no. And then after his next stream, he was like, yes. But we had that chat of it's not. I don't feel like it's just done for the sake of it. It feels organic in the story.
Yeah. I mean, it's very. The sound design is glorious. You know that I'm an audiophile, and the sound design is absolutely wonderful. It really stands out. And the whole design of the game's brilliant. You know, it's set in the spirit world and in the real world. And when you go into the spirit world, the design of it is really imaginative and it's creepy. It really gets to you. And with that added with the sound, it's just a really atmospheric game. And yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing it and getting that away from me.
Poor Paolo. I mean, I did say I always message Paul when I'm playing. I send him pictures of my face because I know he's done the bits. And at one point I was just like, how did you play this? Because I am not feeling very comfortable just now, so I don't know how you have got through these segments. There's a bit then I was like, I think I'm going to throw up. I don't know if I can go.
And you didn't have scare sounds in your ears?
No, I just had the normal sounds. So
oh my days. Great.
Excellent. I've been continuing my Resident Evil recap. So this week we went to Resident Evil 3 and I was Jill Valentine in my glorious boob tube. You know why women decided to wear them, because they are not comfortable. And it was good. It was really nice. I blasted through it in 2.5 hours. I was a bit like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. And it's been nice revisiting the storyline, catching everybody up. There's 12 weeks now till Resident Evil 8, so it's exciting that we can knock them all off. Josh Sandwich, friend of the Nearly Men, was in watching, who as a Resident Evil speedrunner, and he was saying it's nice just being able to sit and watch the story, because speedrunners just hit skip for everything. So he's enjoying that, and there's a lot of people who have maybe only played Resident Evil 7, and they're like, I'm really liking watching these and catching up on the characters or seeing what the storyline's been before the game. So it's been nice. I feel like I'm like creating a good service as well. I'm like, you're welcome.
Absolutely.
It's a great idea, just building it up to the release. That's a great idea.
Yeah. It's funny as well, watching the graphics and the script mature. Like, already between the third game and the first game, the script is miles better. The voice acting's quite a bit better as well, but it's funny watching how it progressed and how quickly everything gets better. I think when it happens at the time, you don't really see the change or the jump. But now I'm doing them one after the other, I'm like, whoa, graphics really, between 96 and 2001, which we'll see the remake in 2 weeks, it's like, whoa, that was 5 years. But no, it's a lot of fun. Continuing the Nightmare, I started Little Nightmares 2 last Friday.
This looks a nice wee friendly game.
Have you ever played the first one?
No.
It's hauntingly beautiful is the only way I can describe it. You play this tiny child. So in this one, you're the masked boy, and then you've got a companion who we think is 6 from the first game. So you control her. In this one, you've got a kind of co-op dynamic where you need both of you to solve puzzles. And the games are very open to interpretation. You wake up in the forest with a TV, and then these big giant adults try and chase you and murder you. And it's really creepy. The sound design is great. You'd love the sound design in it, but the aesthetic's beautiful. There's lots of lovely little touches, like when the characters help each other. Like you take Sixie's hand to lead her through bits where she's scared, and it's really good. It is like there's bits of me just screaming for like 3 minutes. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's something with an elongated neck, and oh my gosh, that neck elongates. So I did the first big chunk. The first big chunk's like a school you're in. And we've just got to the next section, which appears to be a hospital.
Oh, lovely.
So if I thought the school was scary, I'm sure this, what I think is a hospital, is going to be even worse. But it's great. It's a really well-made game. It's doing really well and the reviews and stuff. So I'd say definitely pick it up, or pick the first one up and this one up if you like look at it and like being scared by horrible nightmares. And apart from that, I just play the medium, catch up with Paul on that. And Dead by Daylight, the lunar event's going on just now, so it's like double blood points and stuff for people. And that's quite good. Although there's a bit of a moan about the community because they don't like what they've done with the game. But you can't please everyone.
You can't, son.
We cannot. The viewers have been in touch. So let's see what they've been playing. Queen of the North says, Queen of the North. I've been playing Horizon Zero Dawn and FIFA 21 at the moment. Because Horizon Zero Dawn came out a while ago, I feel no pressure to rush to complete it, and I love that.
Nice.
Very wise, very wise. Exterminator 1 has also been in touch, saying the Division 2 for me has been revelatory during lockdown. Not just because it's a fun enough game, but because of the crazy real-world parallels. Pandemic, riots, civil unrest. Is it Despot President? Militia storming the capital, face mask, social distancing, crystal ball stuff. Also, Darkest Dungeon. I'm guessing that's the game and not just the Division 2 as a dark dungeon. It's a bit freaky. I think that's why we kind of veered.
Yeah, we did the
opposite of streaming it. Yeah, we were like, I think you could play it, but maybe streaming it's not the best idea.
It could be a bit dicey.
Aye, bit close to the bone. Colin Mac 42, been playing Rogue Company, but starting to really get into Ghosts now. Also just started playing FIFA again for something different. And on another note, another bust for trying to get a PS5. The whole system is set up for scalpers, and now I think retailers just tell us what we want to hear, but really don't give a toss, because at the end of the day, they are getting the money, no matter what happens. Just as well, there's nothing out for next gen that I really, really want to play anytime soon, because I think it will be Christmas before I can actually get a console.
Well, they are trying to make it illegal. They're trying to push a bill through to make scalping illegal.
I saw that.
Yeah, you've got it, but retailers have to. Colin's right. Retailers could fix this.
Yeah,
they need to do this. It's there. This isn't, for all the stuff that Sony and Microsoft potentially got into grief about having stock levels or whatever. This is a retailer's problem, because they are giving the stuff to them in good faith. You're expecting people to be able to get stuff to the customers. It helps Sony or Microsoft, or it suits the console makers and the retailers to sell them. But it's terrible, because you've got people out there who are desperately trying to buy these consoles and want to buy games for them and can't. You know.
Yeah, I just think there needs to be a better system than, we're going to stick our stock on at 2 a.m. in the morning and hope somebody gets it. Why not have an email list where you sign up and you can send it to multiple, but as it goes down, you're maybe going to get it. We were sitting 150,000 people want a PS5, say, and every restock there's 2,000. You're going to have to wait for at least 75 restocks. And that's not including the scalpers buying up 500 at a time.
Yeah, exactly.
Bananas. Viva La Hazy says Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury, and I hear that's been getting good reviews, and The Pathless on PS5.
A few people have mentioned that to me.
MJ Deans, also known as MJ Play Games.
She plays games.
Yeah. Neo 2 Remaster on PS5 is gorgeous. Sekiro is still kicking my butt. Absolutely loving dying over and over again and getting lost in Resi 7.
Nope.
She is doing very well at Resident Evil 7, I must say. And also, when MJ gets a fright, I get a fright, so it's quite nice to be frightened by the game again. And James of 42, pretty much the same as usual. Red Dead Online, had to go to the new Telegram missions.
Oh, good, good.
Bit of Dead by Daylight and enjoying the managerial side of FIFA 21. And then on another subject, trying to get a PS5 is still proving to be a pain in the backside. Yep. It seems to be the kind of feeling everywhere when it comes to those.
Yeah.
Sad times. You'll get one eventually, everyone. You'll get them. You'll get them and you'll get them.
And so will you, Blunder Boy.
Yes.
Okay, I know. I've got the money. So I am just trying to decide whether to just keep it sitting or invest in my PC. I'm kind of going between what I want to do. But we'll see. We'll see.
Well,
Want to hear some new releases?
Do we?
Excellent. On the 18th of February, you've got King of Seas coming to the PC, PS4, Xbox consoles, and Switch. On the 23rd of February, or the 19th, if you've pre-ordered it digitally, you get Persona 5 Strikers. I'm so excited. On the PC, PS4, and Switch. Nerd. I'm at midnight. I'm installing on the PlayStation that is getting put right in there. On the 25th of February, you can get Hellpoint on the Switch, Code Realize Wintertide Miracles on the Switch, and Riders Republic on the PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, and Stadia. I think that's what that says. Don't know what that is. 26th of February, you get Bravely Default 2 on the Switch. I also have that pre-ordered. Yes. Although, fun enough, I have cartridge because my Switch memory is full.
Oofed.
And you take
games.
Takes into March. On the 2nd of March, you can get Harvest Moon One World on the Switch, Yakuza Like a Dragon on the PS5, Monster Jam Steel Titans 2 on the PC, PS4, Xbox, Switch, and Stadia. And then on the 4th of March, you can get Ranch Simulator on the PC. And that's your new releases.
Nice. It's very quiet, isn't it?
It is quiet. It is. It'll be interesting to see when it picks up and what it picks up with.
Not Switch games.
But Bravely Default 2 and Persona 5 are coming to the Switch, so that may be a saving grace for it.
That seems to be all that's left.
The next couple of months.
That's you for your year. That's your whack.
That's it. Nothing else.
Mind you, Persona is probably take about a year to play, surely.
Well, that's
true. It's a big game. Be interesting to see how it goes. But let us know if any of those games tickle your fancy, or let us know what you're playing, and this is how you can do that.
We'd love to hear from you. Find us on Facebook as The Nearly Men, Twitter and Instagram, where we are at Nearly Men, or email info@thenearlymen.com.
Just try to limit it.
Yes, please get in touch. Any interesting questions or shout-outs from the chat, fellas?
Hamster Boy shouted out, we were talking about Zynga making the new Star Wars game. He claims that Farmville was the highlight of Facebook.
You know, I did see this, and I kind of, Farmville was the place to be. I remember my farm was like bouncing, man. My farm was the place to be.
I mean, Farmville is essentially, as far as I'm aware, Farmville was essentially Animal Crossing with added doxing.
Pretty much, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or Harvest Moon. Harvest Moon without the doxing, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So that was it, basically. You know, play this daft little game, and we'll steal your data.
Yeah, and constantly message your pals to send you gifts and come chop your bomb.
I actually would go and delete folk that asked me for things in games I didn't play. I was like, nope, off you go.
Jamesy42 comes up with a new name for No Man's Sky. It's now No Man's Swanky.
I like that.
Could go on with that, yeah.
Got to be very careful though. It's No Man Swanky.
Yes, yeah. No Man Swanky.
Yeah, I did see people saying in the chat, need to make sure
swanky.
You get that
right. Upcoming streams, we've got a few of import. We have our Ghost of Tsushima raid, the next Nearly Man event, on Friday, the 26th of February, with special guest star Queen of the North 9 to 5.
Queen of the North!
And that's going to be either really fun or really frustrating.
if we get there.
We've got an insane grind this week. London Boy to actually be ready to actually do it.
This is true. I was like, we've got 2 weeks, don't we? And they're like, nope. And I was like,
I don't want to put the pressure on. I don't want to put the pressure on, but Queen of the North got in touch, and Queen of the North is level 100. She's there.
Wait, aren't you there, Paul?
No, I'm at like 90 or something. I'm nearly there.
Okay, I'm really going to need to play a lot.
I think I'm like 67 or something like that.
I will fly up. We'll fly up.
And then all night after Thursday to Friday, I'm like, must level up. Phone and work. I'm sick.
Farmville is the Wall Street for kids, Hamster Boy saying. Just throwing that in there.
Paul, on Monday the 22nd, you're going to be finishing the medium.
Yes, it got to the point last week where I could have went on for a wee bit, but it would have been stopping kind of mid-chapter, if you like. So I decided to hold it, and we'll finish it this Monday. Oh,
exciting!
Well, I've got no idea where it's going to go.
Do you know, it was interesting that I came into yours, and you're like, "Don't look, spoilers!" And I was like, "Does it have fun?" And I think I've just met a character who was in that cutscene, and I'm like,
oh.
So I never watched it, saw what's happening, so that's gonna be interesting. Colin, you have anything of great import coming up?
Yes, do you know what? Saturday night to celebrate making it to 600 followers, which I was delighted about. I'm dragging, just when she thinks she's out, I pull her back in. Sherry Bobbins, the Sherry Cam will return. Sherry Bobbins is going to help me, and we are going to continue with Resident Evil 7 in VR.
Happy
Very
days.
exciting.
On Saturday night
again?
at 7 p.m. I probably will smack my face, yeah. I've got some amount of setting up to do as well. I'm already getting anxiety about it, but it'll be a lot of fun. Yes, before you ask, the scare sounds will be on as well.
Oh, golly gosh. So that's Saturday the 20th at 8 p.m. Go along and see Colin get traumatized.
7 p.m. I think.
7 p.m. Sorry. That'd be exciting. And then I am going back to Resident Evil on Wednesday. It's the end of Phase 1. I'll be playing Code Veronica X, and Claire Redfield will be your host in another costume. I went out and bought another costume. I'm addicted to
good.
So just commitment to the cosplay.
With it being the end of Phase 1, is there a wee Thanos tease at the end?
It just resets to the prettier versions of the games. You just get the so the week after we're going to Resident Evil 0, then 1 remake, 2 remake, 3 remake and stuff.
Essentially, what Capcom did at this sort of era was kind of what Linkin Park did for like six albums in a row, where they just released like hip hop versions of the same album over and over again. It's kind of the same thing. Capcom and Linkin Park had a very similar business model at that time.
To be fair, it was the fans demanded it.
Well,
it was
who, the Linkin Park fans, or
both?
Probably, aye.
But that's it. So three personal streams that are of great import, and then our Nearly Men raid next Friday. Gosh, I can't believe it's next Friday. Excellent. Any parting words, gentlemen?
No.
No, I suppose I'm going to have to learn how to fish in Sea of Thieves.
Alright, well, I'll need to learn how to fish now. I feel I need to keep up with things now that I'm a pirate legend. I think if I've got a duty of some kind.
There's expectations on your shoulders, Kokozinski.
I signed up for the creator crew, and I'm like, oh, well, I suppose I better give it a go then. I didn't know they were going to like straight away go, you know all the piracy stuff you like doing? Nah, fishing time. What?
Do you know who'll be happy? Bri will be happy. Bri's a big fan of the. He loves the fishing. He loves the fishing.
Maybe I'll just get Bri on my ship, and I can just go around doing piracy, and he can just.
Oh yes.
He can just do the fishing for me, and maybe because the crew, maybe I'll get everything.
We'll just park him out in the ocean, and we'll rowboat into the fun.
Just drop him off at a sea post and just get him to just go mental.
And then like, Geisha fish.
Pay him minimum wage now. Yeah, he'll work for nothing.
Terrible. Pirates the lot. The next episode will be live here on Twitch on the 4th of March, episode 82 at 8 p.m. And of course, we have a multiplayer stream in between then. But for now, say goodbye, Colin.
Goodbye, Colin.
Say goodbye, Paul.
Goodbye, Paul.
And it's goodbye from me, Blunderboy. Remember, wash those joy pads. And we'll see you next time, guys and gals. And those